Hey guys, welcome to my living room at Shared Legacy Farms. This is Corinna, the farmer's wife, and behind the camera we have Farmer Kurt.
Howdy folks.
He is making some technical adjustments. We are using the Facebook Live feature on my phone. So as you tune in, I want to welcome you. We've got a really nice group of people that's forming in our Exploring CSA group. About 50 of you, I think, so far. And every day I feel like I add in another 10 people. So keep inviting people into this group that you think might be interested in talking about CSAs and how to decide if they're a good fit. So I'm just going to wait a couple minutes here until people start joining. And if you join late, you can always catch the replay. So I have my family life going on around me. My children may be coming in and out of the shot. I tried to tell them to keep it down, but this is live, so you never know what happens. So say hi if you join. We'd love to know how many people are coming in, and Kurt will let me know.
Hi Kathy, hi Chris.
Hey Kathy, hey Chris. So the reason I wanted to start this group is because I have so many people that tell me they're interested in CSA, but then they just hold off because they're not quite sure they're ready. They have questions, and I thought, you know what? Let me try this strategy. Let me try creating a pop-up Facebook group. It's only going to be around for see, that's what I'm talking about right there. That was Thomas the Train back there. This group is only going to be around for 60 days, and we're going to talk about all kinds of questions that are going to help you understand if CSA is right for you. Josiah, I need you to stop doing that, please.
Come on, out right now.
Thank you. Live TV, love it. So today we're going to talk about the first question, which is where I think we need to start, which is the 6 questions that you should ask before you join a CSA.
Hi Kim.
Hey Kim. The 6 questions we think that you should be asking before you even sign on the dotted line and join a CSA. And these questions have been shaped and formed over the course of our 10 years. We've been doing CSA for a while, and we've kind of figured out what the secret sauce is for a good customer, meaning a customer that has a good experience with us. There are many ways that you can support a farmer. You can go to the farmer's market, you can go to a roadside stand, or you can join a CSA. CSA is not the only way, and it's not the best way for everyone. So how do you decide between those 3 options, and why would you decide to choose a CSA? What's so unique about this model that's worth investing in? Because it is a big financial investment and a big emotional investment. So these are really great questions that every CSA member should be asking. This is a big decision, and you want to go into this experience with your eyes wide open. So the reality is that CSA is not a good fit for everyone, and so we're going to try and help you figure out over the next few weeks whether it would be for you. And you know what? It might not be. You might come to the end of all of these different trainings and realize, oh, I don't think so. And that's okay with us. It really is, because I want to try to attract people that are going to have a really good experience. I don't want people to come into the CSA and hate it. That's hard for Kurt and me. So we're trying to do this group here to really help you figure out if you think that this system would work for you. So the people that come back year after year, we probably have about a 65-70% retention rate now. It wasn't always so. But the ones that come back year after year are a certain kind of customer, not a better customer, just a certain kind. And we actually have figured out over the last few years what characteristics mark this kind of person that really has a successful CSA experience. So I'm going to kind of go through these 6 questions with you. Before I do, I want to let you know that I've actually got a little freebie for you. If you want to download the questions and have them to look at or share with someone, you can go to sharedlegacyfarms.com/write-CSA, R-I-G-H-T-CSA, and you'll be asked to enter your email there, but you can get these 6 questions and some kind of bullet points underneath them. So, are you guys ready to dive in? We're going to go into the questions, and I want you to think as we go through these, I want you to think about which question is your hang-up, which is the one that you're having a hard time with, and really think that through. I want to be totally honest with you these next few weeks, because some of these are some hard questions, and if it's not a good fit, you should maybe hold off. Okay, so here we go. The first question it's probably the most important one. Is the relationship to the actual farmer important to you? Is the relationship with your farmer important to you? So there's a reason why the word community is in CSA. CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. So effective CSAs really focus on the relationship between the customer and the farmer. And when we did our end of year survey, we kind of asked our customers, what is it that you love about our CSA? Why do you keep coming back year after year? And then we compile all those results. And it is fascinating because by far the number one reason that people say they come back or why they value this program is the relationship with Kurt. They talk about, we love supporting our local farmer. We love getting to know him. We love how he knows our name and just getting to talk with him. This is a really key piece. And this is what sets a CSA apart from, say, going to the farmer's market, where you may interact with many different farmers. So if you have a relationship with one farmer that's really strong and that matters to you, you're going to put high value on that, then CSA is really going to be a good match for you. So your farmer, if they run a CSA, they're going to pay attention to this fact, and they're going to do a lot of things to try and take care of that relationship. So they're going to do things like meet you at your pickup site every week. Now, I know not all the giant CSAs can do that, but that's something that we're really committed to. We try to have Kurt or myself at every pickup site every week, if not every week, every other week. They'll do things like try to get to know your name. They'll plan events at the farm because they want you to come to their place. They want you to see their farm. They're going to try to add value to you. They're going to give you training and tips. They want to grow you. They want to make you better. So they're not interested in just, here, take my vegetables, this one-time transaction. But CSA farmers are really trying to make you succeed. And so they're going to go to the extra mile to try and teach you things to help you learn how to use their produce. They're also going to give special access to you. So they might provide like a Facebook page. In our case, we have a private Facebook page just for our members where we do a lot of CSA coaching, where we teach you how to cook things. We unpack the box for you every week. We show you how to store stuff. And we do Facebook Live videos all the time there too. So just trying to give special access moments. Some CSAs will offer dinners at their farm where chefs will come out, and it's kind of a neat experience where you get to really interact one-on-one with the farmers. So lots of different ways the farmers can do this. I didn't list them all, but they're really trying to create opportunities for you to connect with them. So it doesn't mean you have to take advantage of those things. We have a lot of customers that just come, pick up their box, say hi, and that's it. But we do have quite a few that really want to linger and talk and ask us how we're doing, follow up on something that happened the week before, tell us their funny stories, and we love that. We love that. In fact, we have several people that have become good friends of ours as over the course of their time with us, and we're actually going out to dinner with some of them in a couple of weekends. So the friendships form, and we kind of enjoy celebrating life together. There are people, when I find out that people are having a baby, for instance, or getting married, like we love finding that stuff out, and we send little presents, or we do little things like that to try and connect with you. So the relationship matters to us, and I think that it adds value to the customers that really love and connect with CSA, love that piece. They want that connection, that special relationship with the farmer. So that's one of the things you're kind of paying for with this system. So the second question, we're moving on, so I want you to think about, do you care about that relationship? Is that something that you do indeed value? The second question is, are you willing to try new foods? Really? Are you willing to try new foods? No, I mean really. Because in a CSA, you're going to get exposed to all kinds of variety. And it will push you to try new foods. Things that you've never seen before are going to show up in your box every week. And you're going to play this game of guess that vegetable. And then you're going to play the game of let me check Google and see how to cook this vegetable. All right, so that's part of the CSA experience. And what this means is that you are going to, fall in love with your old favorites, the carrots and the tomatoes and the cucumbers that we all love. But you're also going to discover some new vegetables, things that you've never seen before. Things like garlic scapes, eggplant, kohlrabi, kale, broccoli leaves, So those of you who are watching, if you've ever tried any of those weird things before, those are often, if you have, just type a little comment and let me know what some of those odd vegetables are that you've tried, because I'm curious. So those are some of the kinds of vegetables you will get exposed to in your box. Now we do try, a lot of CSAs I think really do try to give you the things that they know that you like, but you should expect just about every CSA is going to throw in an unusual item every week. And we feel like that's kind of our purpose. We want to expose you to new things. We want to teach you the seasonality of eating. And we want to push your comfort zone a little bit so that you're forced to try new things. In fact, in our surveys from our customers, this is another one of the things that shows up at the top, is that people like being forced to try new vegetables. Because if they had a choice and they were walking through the farmer's market or the grocery store, they would not pick out broccoli leaves or garlic scapes. So the fact that we put it in their box makes them have to figure out how to use it. And a lot of times they discover that they really love it. And they're grateful that we've expanded their horizons, and they get better and better at figuring out how to eat some of those things. So it is not the same old in a CSA. So if you're expecting a CSA to give you, the same 5 or 6 standard, potatoes and onions, that's not the case. I don't know of any CSA that does that. So the one thing I will say that's great about CSAs is that a good CSA will actually teach you how to use these unusual things. They're not just going to throw them in the box and leave you hanging dry. They're going to tell you, hey, this is what this is, and here are some sample ways that you can use them. I know that our CSA is especially good at that. We put a high premium on training and equipping you to use those things. But this is definitely something to ask yourself. Are you willing to try new foods? Do you appreciate variety? Do you want to be stretched and pushed that way? If you've got young kids in the program, I know that somebody was asking about how can I get my children, my husband, to eat unusual things. And we're going to talk about that. I think we're going to have a whole training on picky eaters and how to help people in the CSA get their kids and their families to try some of those unusual foods. But if you have kids, joining the CSA can be so great because they get exposed to different kinds of tastes, right? This is when they're really young, is when their palate is most moldable and malleable. And so you want to be exposing them to things over and over again. And I always tell people, hey, if they don't like it the first time, don't give up. Do it like 5 or 6 times. Keep repeating it, because you are training your child. And this is kids can come out here to the farm. They can see what a broccoli plant looks like. They can see how squash grows on the plant. And it's such a great education for them. And they'll grow up learning to appreciate fresh food. And they'll be able to identify vegetables beyond just a carrot and a piece of broccoli. So
no one has any questions yet, but one of them might be arugula, for instance.
Arugula, right? Yes. Arugula is definitely a what the heck is that?
Which your farmer loves.
Yes, and we didn't always until we learned how to use it. So our CSA is this coming season. One of the things that we're going to do to kind of equip you and help you is when you get your box every week, you also with that get a 1-page cheat sheet that has a visual picture of every item that's in your box, and it's going to give you the kind of the big brush strokes, like a quick reminder how to store this, 5 best uses. Okay, so that'll just be kind of a 1-page sheet, and then you're also getting a newsletter that has meal plans and recipes to use all those different things in your box. So we've just found that that's going to be a really helpful tool so that you can just at a glance every week see what's in your box.
Chris notes, my kids are the main reason I enjoy the CSA.
Really? This is Chris Claypool?
Yes.
Yes. We love your kids too, Chris. Have they changed how they've eaten? Are they better eaters, Chris, because of being in the CSA? I'll let you respond to that while you're waiting. So, we're moving on to question 3, which I have 6, so we're almost halfway through. This is a big one too. Will you have the farmer's back, come hell or high water? Quite literally, in some cases. So, at its core, CSA, I think, was started because the farmer was looking for a way to have kind of that emotional and financial support from people. So people who join a CSA are all about making that commitment, that financial and emotional commitment to a very specific farmer. So they're willing to have our back if we have a particularly bad season for some reason. If it just rains a ton and we lose a bunch of crops, you have to be prepared for that, and that may mean that your share will show that. But you're willing to take that risk, and you're willing to support us in spite of that. So this is where it goes back to that relationship piece. You're not in it just for the value of the share, just to get my, $385 worth. You're in it because you believe in the idea of supporting a farmer, and you understand that sometimes nature throws us really bad curveballs, and man, then I can't go to the farmer's market and sell my stuff. And but if you're in a CSA, we've got people who are standing behind us until we get back on our feet for 2 weeks. And that is a huge grace to us as farmers. That has actually happened to us a few times in the 10 years that we've done this. We've had periods of the season where we got flooded out really bad and we lost a bunch of crops. We've also had periods where we had a drought and we tried to irrigate, but we minimized the damage, but there was still some yield damage. So, and through it all, our customers were so great about it. I'm sure there were some people that were counting their pennies, but for the most part, people were strong and stood there with us, and we really, really appreciate that. So, making a commitment to a specific farm family. This doesn't mean that you don't go and support other farmers at the farmers market, but at your core, when you're in a CSA, you're standing behind one family, and you're trying to support them with your emotional support and your financial support. So be aware that there may be times when bugs take over the field and wipe out an entire crop. Last year we didn't have great luck with our cucumbers, for instance, and so there just wasn't a great yield for that. So every year there's something. I know one of our kale crops was just eaten alive by flea beetles. So there's always something every year. I can promise you there will never be a year where it's perfect. It's just not going to happen. So just be prepared going into a CSA relationship in any farm, whether you choose ours or someone else's. Don't expect perfection, because Mother Nature always has her own mind, and we can plan, and we do have backup plans, but there's almost always something that goes awry, and you just have to roll with it and stand behind us. Is there a question? Farmer Kurt, you're raising your hand.
Chris said, in response to your question, he says, yes, for sure. Okay,
so Chris is saying that his kids definitely eat better and eat more vegetables since joining the CSA. I love that. Okay, so just wrapping that up, I starred this, I have this in my notes here. It says, a CSA member's motivation for supporting the farm is just as much about having the back of the farmer as it is about getting the full financial value of your share. I want you to really think about that, because that's absolutely intrinsic in this relationship. So if that makes you feel uncomfortable, then you should probably back off, just being honest, and think about it a little bit longer, and continue to support farmers at the farmers market. Okay, question 4. Do you need control of your menu planning? This one is tricky for me, so I'm wondering if this is going to be a hang-up for some of you. Are you a control freak? I'm kind of a control freak. I'm real type A, and you'll figure that out if you get to know our farm. I like details. I like to say this to my kids when they're at the table, or when they, actually this is when it happens most, when I pull out the popsicles in the summertime, and they all are like, I want grape, I want grape. That's like the popular color. I don't know what the popular color is for you, but I always say, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. You heard that. I'm sure you've heard that. Maybe you've used that. So that saying kind of applies to the CSA box as well. When you open up your box, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. And you have to be willing to be excited about whatever it is that we give you. You have to be able to be flexible with your menu as well. So you don't have a ton of control over what it is that we're going to put into your box. Now, I will say, before you freak out here, we have learned over the last 10 years what it is that you like and what you really want those staples to be. And we don't go crazy with weird stuff, okay? We get better and better at this every year. So we actually have a harvest calendar. I'm going to give that to you as a freebie in one of our other videos. But we have a plan for what is going to be in the box every week. And most of the time, the box is populated with things that you'll like. There's kind of a staple core. But then there are always a few odd things. But we can't ever guarantee what's going to be in there. So sometimes you're going to open up a box and you're going to see something in there that you don't know what to do with, you've never tried before. And that's what your ingredients are for that week to prepare your meals. So it requires a little bit of spontaneity, and it requires some flexibility. And some people love this spontaneity, and other people are really going to be challenged by that. So if you don't do well with spontaneity, I really think CSA probably isn't a good fit for you. So if you're the kind of person that opens up their recipe books or your little app on your phone, and you have it in your mind, I'm going to have spinach lasagna tonight, or I want to have fish tacos, or whatever it is, and you're not going to stray off that course, then you might have a hard time with CSA, because CSA doesn't work that way. We don't tailor your box to what you feel like eating that week. I love this. Somebody wrote this to me in their survey results. They said you have to have a totally different mindset when you join a CSA. You have to ask yourself not what do you want for dinner, but what can we make for dinner? And I love that, because it's a totally different paradigm shift. If you want to have spinach lasagna and there's no spinach or greens in your box that week, you just won't be able to make it. You'll have to go to the store and supplement, okay? So just be aware that this takes a little bit of adjustment. Are you willing to take or give up control over your box? Do you need to live by your plan, your recipe menu plan, or can you kind of adjust and go with the flow and take the suggestions that we're giving you every week? So, Kurt, you have a question.
In that response, Chris Claypool replies, "You will become a better cook by joining a CSA. Learning ratios and substitutions will open up all kinds of options in regards to food."
Oh, I love that. Chris, thanks for bringing up substitutions, because you're right. Like, sometimes you do come in with this hankering for a kind of meal, and then you can open up your box and you can discover and learn through our trainings, what are substitutes for spinach that you could make, that you could put in there? Beet greens, you probably wouldn't even notice the difference. And all of a sudden, all kinds of options open up for you. So asking yourself that question, what do you want for, not what do you want for dinner, but what can we make for dinner? That's a pretty big paradigm shift. So, for example, if you open up your box and you get a bunch of arugula or cut lettuce, I'm telling you right now, you need to eat that within the first 2 days, okay? So you don't have an option to hold on to that for 5 days. That needs to show up early on in your meal plan, because it spoils quickly. So you'll learn over time, like, okay, even though I might want something else on day 1 of my week, I'm going to have to shift and be flexible and spontaneous and put those greens on the front end, because I want to get my full value of my share. So, any other questions about, or on number 4, do you need control of your menu planning? All right. Number 5, we've got 2 more. Number 5, are you willing to work at CSA and be patient? Here's the thing. I wish I could tell you that I have a silver bullet to just being a CSA master in 3 weeks. I don't know of one. And I think it takes time to learn how to succeed at eating the CSA way. I like to say that it's more of a marathon than a sprint to the finish line. So that means that you're going to have to be willing to have patience with yourself. There's a learning curve for sure. Even if you come in all gangbusters with the best of intentions, you're still going to make mistakes. We have customers that have been with us for 5 years or more, and they have told me that it took them about 2 to 3 years to feel like they really felt in control of the whole CSA way process or way of eating. A lot of people give up too quickly because it's just such a big adjustment, or they come in with this, this idea of what it's like, this expectation of rainbows and unicorns, and then they hit a wall their 3rd or 4th week when the food just gets away from them and they can't keep up, and they don't feel like eating arugula right now, and then it spoils and they get frustrated. And I mean, this happens, folks. So I think that you have to just kind of go into this with an adventurous spirit and realize that you need to be easy on yourself. It's really hard to do as a rookie the first year. There are some pain points, and we're going to go over those pain points real thoroughly in this not in this training, but in future trainings. I've done surveys. I've done this whole research project all winter long, asking my CSA masters, what is it what are those pain points? I mean, I've got all this great information to share with you. I want you to come into this with your eyes open. But it is really hard to do, especially as a rookie in the system. And there are going to be weeks where you have really good intentions and you want to make this super amazing meal like 3 times a week, and then just life gets away from you, or you got to take your kids to 3 different things at night, and you come home and you just end up eating carrot sticks with dip. I mean, and then you feel like, man, why am I doing this? So it can sometimes feel like you're failing at your quest to change the way you eat, or whatever the reason is that you want to join a CSA. So just realize it takes time, it takes commitment, and we're gonna train you. We're gonna teach you those skill sets that you need over time in order to succeed. And that is one of the things that our CSA is probably the best at in our region in Toledo. We are really, really good at that. We've developed a lot of time this winter in creating some tutorials and kind of a roadmap for CSA success. And we're going to be rolling that out this season to our new customers, actually to all our customers. So I also just want to say before I move on to the last question, realize that in this whole CSA experience, whether you're with us or any other CSA, realize that you are going to waste some food. And I know that is so hard to hear. I hate wasting food. I hate it. It's one of my pet peeves. And I'm going to tell you right now that even our CSA masters still waste food every week. So prepare yourself for that. It's going to be even more so the first year, and you just got to push through. If this is really hard for you to swallow, if you're not willing to make it through the long haul and just invest in this, then maybe you should back off and not join a CSA. So I'm just being honest with you, because you are going to waste some food. Again, if you're counting pennies and you're comparing dollar for dollar with a grocery store, it's not going to come out equal, because you are going to probably lose some food when you're in a CSA, and that's just kind of how it works. That's part of it. Kurt, was there someone that had a comment?
Yep, Miss Kimberly says, I am vegetably challenged when it comes to cooking.
Kimberly, I know what you mean. And there are some, when I first married Kurt, I was not always the farm wife that you see before you. Gosh, if you could go back 10 years, Kurt is chuckling, if you could go back 10 years and see what my pantry looked like and how I cooked, it would be humorous to all of you. So when I first started, I would walk out into the field and see what he was growing and not harvest it for us, because I didn't know what it was. So it was a journey for me too, and as I've made mistakes myself, I have certainly learned a ton. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be a guide for all of you, is because I was once the city girl, suburban girl that didn't know how to garden, didn't know really anything. And I have walked this journey, and I feel like I've come so far. And I know the questions that you have. I know the things that are going to impress you or excite you when you learn them. So that's why I can't wait to kind of be your guide through this whole process. So we got you covered, Kimberly. You're going to learn how to cook vegetables. Trust me. Is there another question?
Another question, or a comment from Chris Claypool. When you hit a wall, give some of your share to your friends and neighbors. Is a great gift to them, and they will appreciate it.
Yes. That's a great exit strategy, Chris. We should add that to our list of exit strategies. Give it away.
And then the second one here is from Miss Laura Sanderson. Thanks for making it okay to waste things, decreasing my anxiety.
Yes. So, was that Laura? Is that what
Laura
you said?
Sanderson,
yeah.
yes.
So Laura, absolutely. And you need to know that happens to everyone. Now, I will say that, when people come to the end of the season, if they feel like, gosh, I wasted half my box every week, they're going to ask themselves, do I want to renew? And so that's actually, we're going to do a whole session on the top reasons why people don't renew their CSAs, and that's one of them. And so when we hear that as farmers, we're like, what are we doing? Where's the disconnect? Because we can help people not waste their food. by doing more training. And so that's what precipitated this whole research project this winter for me, to go and call my CSA masters and do 45-minute interviews with them and ask them what happened on your journey, where did you hit walls, what were they, what could we have done better, what can we do better now, and all of that information has helped create this roadmap for you guys. I'm so excited to share it. Can I promise a silver bullet? No, but I feel like we are going to be so much better this year at teaching you the things you need to know first, so that you don't waste as much food. You're still going to waste some, but I'm hoping that by the end of the year, you can successfully say, I didn't waste that much. And if I can do that, then I feel like you've grown. You've grown. Okay, our last question that you need to ask yourself before you think about joining a CSA is this one, and I've kind of alluded to it already. Are you looking for a deal? Are you looking for a deal? Are you comparing the grocery store prices to the CSA price? Because people who embrace the CSA model don't do that. They do not look at their membership as a deal or a bargain. And they're not comparing their CSA experience to the grocery store price table. And this is such a key point. Does this mean that you don't ask how much does it cost? Does it mean that you don't weigh those pros and cons? Absolutely not. Of course you should do that. I want you to look at the cost, and it needs to feel right for you. But supporting a CSA financially isn't just about doing that cost analysis. It's not taking all the vegetables that you get, adding up the price, and comparing it to your receipts from Kroger. First of all, the reality is you're going to lose some produce your first year, and so right then and there, Kroger is going to be the better deal if you're looking at just the financial piece. Costco, whatever, those are going to be the better deal when you're looking at money dollar for dollar. But our vegetables have added value because every one of our vegetables is telling a story, and it's not just the vegetable itself that you're getting in a CSA membership. And I hope you can kind of see that after we've been talking through some of this stuff. People who are joining a CSA aren't just coming here for the vegetables. They could go to the farmer's market and do that. They're joining a CSA because, number one, they want a relationship with a farmer. They want to have that feeling that I'm supporting local agriculture. They want to have that feeling I'm getting variety. Someone's forcing me to try new things. And in our case, they love the fact that they're supporting organic produce, certified organic farm. So you're getting the whole story behind that food, the food security, the knowledge that your farmer is taking care of this, that you can go and talk to him about his growing practices. But it's also the story, it's your story, because we're helping you get better at cooking. We're teaching you the ins and outs behind why produce needs to be stored a certain way, or how to roast vegetables, or how you can freeze every single vegetable in the world and how to do it. I mean, these are all things that come along with the CSA experience. So at the end of the year, after a couple years with us, you can look back and say, I didn't just get vegetables from my farmer. They didn't just grow my food. They grew me. And that's worth more than anything you can get at Kroger. So if you're comparing dollar for dollar, vegetable to vegetable, that's one thing. But CSA members don't do that. They're not looking for the deal. They're looking for the experience. They're looking for the life change. They're looking for training and equipping. They're looking for a connection with a farmer. And that's all part of that experience and part of that price tag. So be aware of that. If that doesn't matter to you, then CSA is not right for you. If you just want a deal, please go to the grocery store or go to the farmer's market. I don't mean to be like lippy about that. I just want you to know that the CSA is, the people who love CSA love it not just because our food tastes amazing, we have great soils, we've got good nutritional content, but we're giving them so much more than just the food. We're helping them become better at what they are. So that's it. That's the 6 questions. So how did you do? And I'm curious, which one of those 6 questions is tough for you? Which is the one that you're having a hang up on? I would personally love it if you would write that in the comments, just so I have some feedback on today's video. and that may help me create another piece of content for you guys later on to go through. There's something that's really bugging you. So just remember that CSA is just one way out there for you to get food from a farmer. And for people who really value the relationship, the journey, the story behind the food, the way that you're going to grow, CSA is definitely for you. And there is no shame if CSA is not. If you're listening to this and you're having a visceral reaction to it, then you need to just back off, and you need to not feel bad about that. And you need to realize that I won't feel bad about that, because I'm going to attract certain customers and I'm going to repel certain customers, and that's okay, because we want our farm to be a good fit. And I know any other farm out there that wants you as a customer wants you to be a good fit. So ask these questions, really think them through, and if a lot of them you said no to, then you should probably hold off and not join a CSA. So I have a couple of things I want you to do. Number one, again, that freebie, if you want it, if you want all these 6 questions written down for you and my notes, you can go to sharedlegacyfarms.com/write-CSA, RIGHT-CSA. I will ask you for your email address when you do that. Hey, you know what? That may not be a bad thing, because if you give me your email address, then I can add you to my email sequence. And I have like 8 emails that I'm launching every 2 days to people who become a lead for me. And these emails are so valuable. They give you free stuff, more content, and they just really help you kind of think through your decision-making process. There's no sales pitch until I think the last one. So, I mean, it's just really good stuff. So really, if you want to get in that email list, you should just download this just so you can get on it. So it's sharedlegacyfarms.com/write-CSA, RIGHT-CSA. And the second thing I want you to do, if you found this content really helpful, would you invite someone else that you think might enjoy the group? Someone else who's thinking about CSA. They can watch the playback of this video and catch up to speed. But we would sure love to have more people in here, and we can have discussion. I want to help people understand CSAs. And if they don't join our CSA, that's fine. I noticed I actually had people in our audience that are from other states that aren't even from Ohio, and that's awesome, because this is great information for anyone, no matter where you are in the country. So I think it applies wherever. So, any other questions, Farmer Kurt?
Nope. Shout to Katie and Miss Robin showed up. And shout to Mr. Nico.
Oh, nice.
How's it going, bud?
Hey. So don't forget, let me know which of those 6 questions that I brought up are hard for you. Write that down in the comments. Or you could even write which one is you totally agree with. Like, yeah, if you have I agree with you, Corinna, you can write that too. So that was today's video. Our next video is probably going to be in 3 days, sometime later in the week. And we are going to be talking, this is going to be a good one, we're going to talk about how do you find the local CSAs in your area. Now obviously you've discovered me, but there are other CSAs in the Toledo area, and if you want you can check them out. I'm going to show you how you find them no matter where you are in the country. And number 2, once you find all those CSAs, how do you compare them? What are the factors that you should think about? Because when you're making this big financial decision, I mean, it's a lot of money, and you want to make sure that you get the one that matches you best. And not all CSAs are created equal. There are some that are stronger in other areas. So what are the different factors that you should consider? This is great advice for no matter where you are in the country. What are the different things that you should think about as you're researching them? And then that will help you make a good decision that you feel good about. So we're going to go through all those factors. I think I have 10 factors that you should think about as you're researching CSAs and comparing them. Okay, so that'll be in a few days. Get excited for that. Again, invite somebody into the group. And you can catch that freebie at sharedlegacyfarms.com/write-CSA. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you in a few days. Bye, everyone.